What's going on, peeps? What's going on? Let's get those questions in. What's going on, people? I hope you guys are well. Though I do a live, guys. If you want to jump on, you're more than welcome. I've got the link in the live stream. You're more than welcome to jump on. So, what's going on, VK Chris? Greatness is on display. Greatness is on display. Canelo Alvarez looks like he's set to take on Dmitry Bivol. Guys, what's your opinion? We are witnessing greatness, says um, VK Chris. Yes, we may well be. He's got to beat him though. It's a very, very tough fight. Very, very tough fight. What's good, brother? Regards from Appalachia GA. King Sosa says fake news. It's not fake news. It's not fake news, King Sosa. It's definitely not fake news. This is very, very close. And I actually think it's a done deal, to be honest with you. I think it's a done deal. It's not fake news at all. But we don't. So it says here, Dante Sloppy Chicken Breast Nation says, but we have haters saying he's ducking Charlo. Nah, this ain't no ducking Charlo. This is a proper fight here. This is a proper fight. This is one of the toughest fights out there for Saul Canelo Alvarez. This is a tough fight. So VK Chris says, who else from the other fighters would have fought Bivol? Yeah, no, none of them. Bivol is a monster. Let's be brutally honest. Bivol is a monster. You know, you got to realize Bivol is the light heavyweight king. You know what I mean? So that's a tough fight for Canelo. That's not an easy fight at all. Very, very tough fight. I'm looking forward to how Canelo gets on with. Do you know what venue? That's not announced yet, of course. That's not announced yet. But Michael Benson has said, King Sosa, that Canelo Alvarez will be fighting Dmitry Bivol next. I think Michael Benson, Mike Coppinger, Eddie Hearn have also said that you could be hearing something in the next couple of hours. So I believe that this is almost a done deal. I know Canelo's team haven't announced it yet, but this is going to be announced, in my opinion, in due course. I think this is a done deal. I think Canelo will be fighting Bivol. That's what I take from it. I just think he will. Key Boomerang says, I will believe it when I see it. A lot of fireworks with Canelo. I heard Staples Center, says VK Chris. That's where the fight's going to take place. He thinks Staples. Victor Martinez, what's going on, brother? Bivol is a tougher fight than Charlo. Charlo is just hyped. Good fighter. Bivol is a tough fighter. He's very tricky and he is hard to hit. Yeah, it's a tough fight for Canelo. And he's bigger than Canelo as well, quite much bigger as well. So, yeah, that's a tough fight for Canelo. That's not going to be an easy fight at all. Guys, if anyone wants to jump on and want to discuss boxing, you're more than welcome to jump on. Who's this? Someone's trying to jump on. Someone's... Okay, so V. Chris says, well, maybe not there, but I heard it's going to be in the West Coast in the US. Possibly. More than possible. I'm trying to get on my laptop. So well, maybe it's going to be in the US, the West Coast. We'll have to wait and see where it's at. Guys, I'm just trying to get... Guys, give me a sec. I'm just trying to get this. I'm just going to leave my camera off. I'm getting it on my laptop. So, yeah, let's keep talking. Let's get the questions in, guys. Let's keep getting the questions in. I'm waiting for the questions to keep popping in. What have you guys got for me? Let's keep getting those questions in, guys. Let's keep getting those questions in. What have you guys got for me? Any questions? Yeah, so Canelo Alvarez is going to be taking on Dmitry Bivol, guys. Do you like that fight? Do you dislike that fight? What do you guys... So Dante says he feels... I heard it, T-Mobile Arena in Vegas. Yeah, that's what they said, right? That's what they said. They said that they're going to be fighting in Las Vegas. So, yeah, I think that's probably going to be where the fight's going to be happening, to be honest. That's where I think as well. Yeah, let's see. Let's see how it all plays out. Guys, what do you guys make of it? So let me get the so Steven's. Oh, Steven, where you going, my brother? Steven, you there? Nah, Steven's gone. Steven, you there? Let me invite the guests in the house. Get this live stream kicking, man. Okay, so guys, anyone wants to jump in? You're more than welcome to jump in. Steven, you there? Nah, Steven's not there. So yeah, guys, anyone wants to join, you're more than welcome to join. Just to see how big it would be. How big what would be, sorry. What were you saying? Steven, you there? Oh, Steven's here. Steven? No, he's gone. Steven's gone. Yeah, so guys, I've left the link in the description. Anyone wants to jump on, you're more than welcome. I'm on my laptop now. So anyone wants to jump on, you're more than welcome to jump on. I'm looking forward to talking boxing with you guys. Phil Smith, what's going on, brother? I'm all good. How are you? Always love seeing Phil Smith in the house. William Boxing, what's going on, brother? From undisputed to a light heavyweight champion in his prime, absolutely. He's fighting a monster. Isaac Bermudez says Canelo breaks down Bivol in this fight. Let's see. It's a tough fight. This is a proper fight here. You know, this is going to be tough. No, not easy. It's going to be a tough fight. I want to know your guys' opinion. Excellent. Good to be here. Yeah, Phil, it's good to have you here, my brother. It's good to have you here. Guys, where are you guys? Anyone wants to jump on? Here's the link. You're more than welcome to jump on. I'm waiting for you guys to jump on. Anyone wants to jump on? Anyone wants to give their thoughts? They're more than welcome. They're more than welcome, guys. This is going to be a good live stream. Canelo's coming out on top. Is he? Are you sure? Brendan, are you sure he's coming out on top? How confident are you? How confident are you that Canelo's turning out on top? This is a tough fight, man. It's a tough fight. It's not an easy fight. It's a very tough fight. Okay, so let's start answering you guys' questions. Canelo's coming out on top. Key Boomerang says Canelo has no chance at 170. Whoa. He has no chance. Here we go. Canelo has no chance. It's 1 p.m. Where is that? 1 p.m. in America. It'll be on in 30 minutes. What will be on in 30 minutes? Here in Los Angeles. Lol, we're working. Oh, right. Okay, you guys are working. All right. Yeah. I get you. Evening, Ray. What's going on, Ray? My dude Ray's in the house. What's going on, Ray? Isaac Bermuda says, I believe it's a 50-50, but this will show why Canelo is great. He's once in a generation of talent. I can't really disagree with you there. Brendan Jackson says 60-40 that Canelo wins either way by decision or late stoppage. What weight do you think Bivol rehydrates to? Probably 190 or something like that. Canelo might fight the winner of Joe Smith v. Better be of later that year. Yeah, then he can become undisputed. Ray's asking a good question. How much is DAZN pay-per-view? Now this is not going to, a lot of fans are not going to be happy with this. Apparently, Ray, the rumors are that it's going to be $80 for people that are not subscribed to DAZN and $60 for people that are subscribed to DAZN, which that's a lot of money, Ray. That's a lot of money. $60 to subscribers that are already subscribed to DAZN and $80 to people that are not subscribed. Wow. That's the rumors coming out, Ray. I love the show. Thank you, Adolfo Ranger. I really appreciate your support. I like the Bivol fight because he can have the chance to be undisputed in light heavyweight. Bivol is a hard fight. Yeah, very hard fight. Very hard fight. Ray says ridiculous money. Yeah, it's crazy money. It's crazy money. But, you know, it's crazy, man. It's crazy. Imagine like they're paying $20 a month for DAZN over there. So it basically works out the same thing. It basically works out the same thing, really. Crazy. You know, the Americans have to pay a lot of money. They have to pay a lot of dough. You know, that's crazy money, man. Crazy. Get your questions in, guys. Let me just get the yeah, it's a lot of money, man. It's a lot of dough. Lot of dough. Ray's right. It's crazy money. Crazy money. Big money. In like 60, like your subscription plus $60 on top. Wow, that's crazy, man. If they were now, what they need to do is now probably reduce their subscription, because otherwise it's very costly, man. Very, very costly. You know what I mean? Bivol doesn't like to waste punches. I see it as a technical fight. Yeah, he's a very technical fighter. Very good fighter. John Love says, but they do fight parties for pay-per-view fights. But they do fight parties for pay-per-view. Everyone chips in. Oh, fight parties. Yeah, but not everybody does that. Like, not everybody does that. Yeah, I know what you're saying. If like friends get together and they all chip in, it's still a lot of money though, eh? Still a lot of money, man. What if you get like 6 friends together chipping in $10? It's still a lot. You know what I mean? It's a lot of money, man. A lot of money. Not everybody likes to do that. Not everybody likes to be in a party. Not every people like their own space at home. The third Golovkin fight is a waste of time, complete waste of time, says Ray. Yeah, I'm not too high on that fight. I'd prefer the Charlo fight. I'm not really that interested in the Golovkin one. But the thing is, Ray, it's about money, man. It's about the pay-per-view. That fight will do huge numbers. They know that. And that's why they've introduced pay-per-view, because they know that fight will do massive numbers. Canelo should have taken the PBC option. That's the easier option. But I think that would have been the more what do you call it? What word am I looking for? The bigger option in terms of, I think there would have been more eyes on it, because Bivol's not really that big a name. Charlo and Benavidez have kind of got a bigger profile. Whereas Bivol, although a good fighter and a more challenging fight, he's not as big a name. He's quite unknown, Bivol, isn't he? He's not a big star. He's not really well known. So I agree. I think I would have preferred him, to take the Charlo option. I just think that would have been a bigger fight. But, it is what it is. No KPs in the house. What's going on, brother? You good? Appeals to hardcore fans by beating Charlo. Appeals to hardcore fans and Benavidez. Yes. Indeed. Indeed. So Miguel's in the house. Miguel, what's going on? You there? Miguel? No, Miguel's not in the house. Miguel's not in the house. So why do people act so? Gabe Torres says, I heard PBC wanted the Charlo fight at 160. Really? Surely not. Surely not. Surely not, Gabe Torres. Surely not. Surely not. Eugene Aburat says, what's going on, Eugene? Why do people act like Charlo fight or Benavidez fight can't happen a little down the line? He probably fights Bivol, GGG, then fights them. Well, it doesn't really make a lot of sense, does it, Eugene? Going up to 175, then coming back down. I don't really get that. I don't really get the purpose of that, to be honest. It's a bit strange, but Canelo's his own man. Canelo can do what he wants. Gabe Torres says, no Bivol appears to hardcore fans. Most casuals know Charlo and David. Yeah, I think I'd agree with that. I don't think Bivol is known by casuals at all. I think he's relatively unknown quantity. I think Charlo and David Benavidez are a bit more. They got a bigger profile. They're more well known, in my opinion. Get your questions in, guys. Smash the like button, guys. So Kevin Lowe says Khan may activate the rematch clause. Ben Shalom from Boxer said there were complaints from Khan's camp about jet lag and underestimated kill. Nah, man, he ain't. I don't think that's bull. I think that's rubbish. Kevin, Amir Khan should not activate. He should retire, man. He's done. That's it. He's had his day in the sun. Amir Khan, he's not the fighter he once was. He's not that fighter anymore. Kevin he needs to retire. Needs to retire, man. That was sad to watch him like that. Do you know what I mean? Guys know I'm a big Khan fan, but that was sad. He needs to retire. He hasn't got it anymore. Eugene says, you're right. That's weird, but come on. Down, he's done it before. I think if those fights happen, I don't know, I don't know if they happen. I don't know if they happen, because I think the Benavidez fight happens. I think it's too big. I think the Charlo fight, I'm not so sure. I'm not so sure. Miguel, you there? Miguel? Miguel's not there. Miguel's troubling. Sortex 7, what's going on, brother? I hope you're good. Where was this confirmed at? Well, it's been Michael Benson and Mike Coppinger have confirmed it, and it's very close. It's very, very close that this will happen. Kevin Lowe says, yeah, I know. Ben Shalom said there is a possibility. I don't want to see either. I don't think so, to be honest. I don't think he'll fight again, personally. I think he knows. I think he knows. Josh Taylor is not as good as his record says. I think he gets into people's head before fights. If Regis had boxed, he would have won. Wouldn't mind seeing Gary Russell. Gary Russell's well small. Oh, you mean Gary Antoine Russell? Yeah, that's a good fight. Yeah, Gary Antoine can really fight. You don't think Josh Taylor's as good as what his record suggests? My man Ray's not going to be happy. If Ray's still in the chat, Ray's going to be in here. Ray's going to be in here. Ray's a big fan of Josh Taylor. I think Josh Taylor's a good fighter, don't get me wrong, but we need to, I think we'll get to learn more about him as, the competition gets harder and harder with Crawford and that. But yeah, I don't know. I think you have to give Josh Taylor credit for what he's done. 18 fights undisputed. British fighters don't really achieve stuff like that, do they? So I think you have to give him a lot of credit. Adolfo says, who do you think is a harder fight, Bivol or Benavidez? Bivol, man, all day. I'm not that high on Benavidez. Guys, I'm not that high on Benavidez. You know that I'm not that high on Benavidez. I think he's good, but I'm not very high on Benavidez. I think Bivol will be, Kevin Lowe says, Josh Taylor looked drained. Yeah, he did. He looked very drained. He looked like he needed some food. He was in a mess. I still think he wins though. I think Jack Catterall will get stopped in my opinion, but we'll have to wait and see tomorrow. We'll have to wait and see. Okay, so No KP says there was bits in the Ramirez fight where it looked like it was uncomfortable in there. Yeah, Ramirez did trouble. I thought he looked uncomfortable at times in the Baranchik fight. I thought there was tough moments. The Regis Prograis fight, there was a lot of tough moments. Do you know what I mean? But again, it is what it is. You've got to give the guy credit for what he's done and what he's achieved. Not many British fighters achieved that, so I give him a lot of respect and credit for that. William Boxing says the real question: who will Charlo fight? Charlo will fight. In my opinion, Caleb Plant or someone. Ahmed, brother, what's going on?
I'm all right, brother. How are you?
I'm good, man. How are you?
I'm good, man.
Yo, Ahmed, man, you've got what you wanted.
That's it, man. I got what I
Canelo
wanted.
fighting Dmitry Bivol. It looks like on DAZN pay-per-view. Firstly, give me your thoughts on the news.
I'm very happy, and I rate Canelo for taking this fight. I mean, he didn't have to. I mean, he could have taken the easier option for a bit more glamour. But this is a fight, as a hardcore. I know this is going to put Canelo on that next level.
Well, the other thing I wanted to ask you about, what do you make of the DAZN pay-per-view? So basically, apparently, DAZN are going to start a pay-per-view model now.
I think it's good. They should try and see what happens.
Yeah, but what about the fans?
The fans, yeah, it is a bit. It's adding to the cost, isn't it? Really, I mean, the ones who are already paying.
Yeah.
I think they should make it a bit fair on the fans because.
Do you know what they're speculating?
Go on.
They're basically saying that it's going to be. So you obviously have to, in America, you have to pay £20 subscription per month, right?
Yep.
And then basically they're saying so if you haven't got DAZN, you have to pay $80 for the pay-per-view.
Yeah.
And for the subscribers that already subscribed, they have to pay $60.
Right. That's a bit expensive, isn't it? A bit dear, that.
That's what I mean. Apparently they're going to do that here as well, Ahmed, with the pay-per-view. They're going to do pay-per-view here as well.
Right. That's not going to be. It's going to be a bit expensive. That, I mean,
we
already pay enough money just being a regular payments and
Yeah,
that.
that's it. So imagine, right, Ahmed, right? If you're paying $20 a month, right? So
Yeah.
that's what, $240 a year?
Yep.
Just say if they do two pay-per-views, then you pay 60 extra. That's $120. That's $360 a year for boxing.
Yeah. That's a lot of that.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? So I don't know, man. I don't know how I feel about that, and I don't know how about the Americans feel. I think it's worth it. I pay for the year. Jesse says, I think it's worth it. I don't know, man. $360. It's a lot of dough, man. A lot of
Direct
dough.
debit.
That's a lot of dough, man, Ahmed. Eh?
Yeah, definitely.
That's almost £30 a month.
Yeah. I pay 30 for my gym membership. I'll have
Do
to
you know
pay
what I
another
mean?
30.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Yeah, but that's your health. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's your health. Do you know what I mean? You got to take care of your health. And let's not forget, Ahmed, you're probably doing that by choice because there's other options out there, cheaper options out there. Do you know what I mean? For gym
Definitely. No, I mean gyms are really good uh
investment.
investment. Yeah, yeah. But with this going to that level as well, I mean it is expensive. I mean, uh, charging extra money and that for fights.
Hmm. So how happy are you then? Because I know you wanted to see this fight. You wanted this fight more than anything.
I'm
Uh,
very happy. I'm very happy because with the pedestal that we've got Canelo on, this is that sort of fight to see if he can live up to it. Because he's going to be tested in every department in this fight.
mm, mm.
Don't you think?
Yeah, yeah. I think it's a good fight. And also, do you think if Canelo wins, it'll put to bed about Canelo struggling against slick fighters?
Yes, it definitely will. Because here he's having to deal with the slickness, the
Mm.
size, the movement, the elusiveness. The having to take punch power as well from Bivol, who's got respectable punch power at 175. And we're gonna find out whether Bivol can push Canelo back as well. In this fight.
Yeah. Who's this dude? Who's this dude? Amir Khan sucks. Who's this dude coming on? Who's this? AKS. What's that all about? Amir Khan sucks, brother. AKS, you there? Oh, he's gone. He tried to troll me, man. He tried to troll me. AKS Amir Khan sucks on
I'm,
there.
I'm, I'm still not over that fight, man. I felt
Oh
bad
man,
on.
Ahmed, I need to get your opinion on it, man, before we move on to the Canelo-Bivol. What did you make of that, man?
I was disappointed, man. I mean, going into the fight, no, normally I thought I did think Canelo would win, but I thought with Amir Khan training with Crawford and that Bomac and that,
You
I
mean
was given the
Crawford?
I was given the edge to Amir Khan, but
Mm.
but really deep down inside, I knew it might be difficult for him, and they proved to be the case.
But you know what, Ahmed, you've got to say that it wasn't him. It was that fact that he was shot to bits. Let's
Yeah,
be honest.
he was definitely shot. In that fight, he was definitely shot. There's no doubt about it.
I haven't seen Amir Khan that bad in my life, ever.
I know. I know. I mean, can you imagine if the Amir Khan that fought Devin Alexander or
Yeah.
Maidana? I mean, that would
Mm,
have been a different thing. Yeah.
that was horrible watch, man. I couldn't believe it, man. I couldn't believe what I was like, what's going off here? I was like, wow, man. I was very disappointed. I'll be honest with you. I was, disappointed in the sense that, it wasn't even a fight. It was terrible. You know what I mean? It was so one-sided. Um, and Khan just didn't look that Khan. He just didn't look that fighter. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just legs. Every time the punch landed, his legs were all over the place.
Yeah, it was all about his legs. I knew before the fight, everything was going to depend on his legs, whether he's got it, and obviously he has not got it anymore.
No, he hasn't. He hasn't, man. He should retire, Ahmed.
I think he should retire. Yeah, just have one more fight. The way Prince Nassim had one more fight, just to get a win, and
Yeah,
then call it a day. It's over, really.
yeah, yeah. Fair play. Canelo Jr.'s in the house. What's going on, Canelo?
What's going on in
I'm all good, brother. I'm all good. What's good, man? How do you take to this news? Bivol looks like Canelo will be fighting Dmitry Bivol.
Oh, I'm really excited for this fight, man. This is the toughest opponent Canelo could have chosen.
Hmm. Mm. How do you see this one playing out?
I really haven't watched too much of Bivol, but his style, I heard it's tricky against Canelo. But I'm just hoping Canelo can break him down to the body, and I don't think he would be able to stop him. But hopefully he wins on the points.
You know, Canelo has struggled in the past against slick fighters, against movers, against guys that got a good jab. You know, Bivol's in his prime. He's young. He's fresh. He wants it. You know what I mean? Is Canelo Alvarez finally fighting somebody that may have his number, Canelo Jr.?
He might. This is the 50-50 fight in my eyes. That's why
Mm.
I'm major props to Canelo for taking this fight. Toughest opponent he could have chosen. And like you said, he's kind of slick, tricky, has a good jab.
Hmm. Yeah, this is a tough one. Very, very tough fight. This is a very, very tough fight. I honestly won't be surprised. So let's look. Yeah, Jesse says smash the like button, guys. Angel says, so let's read out some of these things. So Angel says, just a year ago, supposedly Canelo was ducking Bivol, but now he's fighting him. It's all of a sudden a cherry pick. I'm seeing a lot of biased channel pushing this. How is Canelo fighting Bivol a cherry pick? Who's saying that? Who said
Hey,
that?
It
do
can
you
only be
think Golovkin can beat Murata?
Hey?
No, Murata. You think Murata can beat Golovkin?
Do I think Murata? No, I don't. Who's this? The ring is in Amir Khan's bed. What's this type of name? What's this type of name? The ring is in Amir Khan's bed. What's going on? It's not talking. All right, okay. Okay, so let's move on. Let's move on. So okay, guys, cherry pick. Is it a cherry pick?
far from it. It's the complete opposite.
Yeah, it's a tough fight. Steven's in the house. Steven, what's good? Oh, Steven's gone. What's going on? People are coming on and they're disappearing. What's good? What's going on? Miguel can't get on. I don't know what's going on with people's connection. But Canelo 8 drops Bivol in Bivol's last fight. He looked suspect. What do you guys think? Do you think Canelo drops Bivol, guys? What do you guys think?
I don't
Miguel,
think so.
yeah, go on, Ahmed. Go on.
I don't think so because I think it's going to be one of them fights where is going to nip and tuck, and I just don't think Bivol will be in that sort of position to be dropped. To be honest with you, he's very slick. He moves well, punches hard. Canelo himself will be wary of what's coming back. I'm.
So you think that how do you see this fight playing out? Tell me, how do you see it in your head, Ahmed?
I don't know. I can see people winning these rounds. Even early on and that. I can see him, and then maybe middle rounds, Canelo coming on. But then I can see Bivol getting a second wind and that, and I can see it going. It's going to go late, and most likely points.
Look who it is. Steven's in the house. What's going on, Steven?
What's up, man? I've been trying to get on for the last hour.
Yo, Miguel's having issues as well with his connection. I can't get Miguel on. I don't know, something's wrong with these connections, you guys. Something off in there in America and Mexico. Something's kicking off there. You know what I mean? But what are you saying? You heard the news, Steven?
I heard the news.
Right. But Steven, before we get on to Canelo Bivol, I've got to ask you about Amir Khan and Kell-Brook, because to me, I'm like, when we talk about a fight should have happened in their prime, right? That was a prime example of a fight that should have happened in a prime. That was a sorry sight, wasn't it, Steven?
Well, it was pretty sad. I'm not gonna lie, man. I ain't even gonna lie. It was pretty sad to see, man, because I got a lot of respect for Amir Khan. I really do. I have a lot of respect for him, and it's hard to see. It's hard to see any fighter get stopped that you respect so much. It's hard. That's a hard sight to see. but what I got, but what I took from that was, and I don't know if Amir, could chime in on this, or even you. But what I gathered from it was, I think Kell-Brook was just too much for Amir Khan, and it could have been that way early on in their careers because he was always the bigger, stronger guy. He even said it himself. And you know what? It was a lot of hatred coming from Amir Khan towards. It was more coming from Amir Khan towards Kell-Brook because I was watching it, man, and Amir Khan, he just don't got no love for Kell-Brook, and Kell-Brook, his disposition wasn't like that. His disposition was like, man, I've been knowing you forever, man. We come up together. We say I was always a weight class above you. I was winning, you was winning, but it was just a bad sight, and Amir Khan really looks bad at this point.
Do you think he's shot, like proper shot, like he shouldn't even be in a ring kind of thing?
Yeah, I think he gone. I don't think he should be in the ring, man. I really don't. If you take these last two fights, the fight with Bud and the fight with K, man, he's looking bad, dude.
Did you see his legs, Stephen? How they were wobbling? Like, to be fair to him, he didn't get knocked down. He didn't get wiped out. He was hanging in there. But where was his speed, Stephen? Where was that speed? Where was the movement? Like back in the day when he fought Zab Judah, Maidana, where was that guy? Even when he fought Danny, where was that dude, man?
That dude, he gone, man. That dude's dissipated, man. He ain't here no more, man. He's gone, man.
Yeah, that was, when you see someone that, in their prime and they were such a gifted fighter, and then you just see him, like Roy Jones was a bit like that as well. Like he was such a gifted fighter, and then you see him towards the back end of their career and you think, is this the same guy that I used to watch? Like, is this the same dude? I couldn't even recognize that was an Amir Khan there. I couldn't even recognize.
I mean, he was looking bad, dude. He was looking real bad.
I saw him fight. Look, Kell-Brook's not Canelo, right? Kell-Brook is washed up himself.
Mm-hmm.
Amir Khan fought Canelo, and he was looking great in that fight. Before he got knocked out, he was looking good in that fight. Mm-hmm. And this was terrible, man. This was, I don't even want to talk about it. It was terrible. But yes, Stephen.
I can't eat honey mustard. I ordered ranch and black and ranch.
Hold on, man. Sorry about that.
No worries, man. No worries.
I'm supposed to have ranch and black and ranch.
Okay, I had honey mustard.
Okay, thank you.
Man.
What's good?
Okay. Now, what was you saying, man? Sorry about that.
Canelo-Bivol.
Oh, yeah. So, man, I was looking.
Mashed potatoes. I think mashed potatoes.
Hold on, man.
No worries. I'll speak to Ahmed. You sort your stuff out, and I'll speak to Ahmed. Okay, what's this? Amir Khan? What's going on?
I'm sorry.
Who is this?
I don't know what happened.
Who is this? Amir Khan. I don't know what's going on with here. He doesn't talk, man. All right, okay. So Ahmed, Canelo-Bivol, then. What do you think both fights? What do you think Bivol has to do to win?
I think Bivol has to be himself to win. Use his range, use his power, stay on the outside, come inside sometimes if he needs to, and really show Canelo, his power at 175. The punch power is going to be what's going to separate himself and from Canelo, and I really think he can win this fight.
What, you think Bivol wins this fight?
Yeah, if I had to pick, I'd pick Bivol to win.
Yeah, Bivol gonna win, man. He gonna win. He definitely gonna win the fight.
You really think so?
Yeah, man. I'm almost positive. I can almost bet my life on it.
Nah, come on. You can't be that confident, Stephen. Surely, really?
I'm pretty confident.
Wow. Bet your life on it. You're that confident.
I'm that confident, man.
Even against someone as good as Saul Canelo. Wow.
Well, what you got to take into consideration, man, is that Canelo, he wasn't on his way against Kovalev. He was struggling there, and I mean, Bivol's going to be a lot more better, fresher. He's going to be in and out. You know what I
Can he
mean?
take Canelo's power? Can he take Canelo's power? If Canelo starts hitting him at the body, wipe.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, Bivol's been in with big, strong 175 pounders. He's
like
been
who?
in
Like who?
Joe Smith Jr., Sullivan Barrera. He's been in with,
They're not Canelo though. Come on.
yeah, but the punch is hard as Canelo, or even harder than him.
I don't know, man, but it's just it's the timing, it's the speed, it's the way Canelo breaks guys down. Those guys don't have that.
He won't be able to break Bivol down because Bivol's not going to be there for him to be broken down.
No.
You don't.
Preach to him, Ahmed. Ahmed, listen to Ahmed because he kicking that knowledge to y'all,
but
man.
Here's the thing, Stephen. Ahmed likes Bivol. Ahmed likes Bivol. He likes him a lot. You know, Ahmed likes Bivol like he does Bud Crawford. You know what I mean? And Ahmed will say to you, Stephen, that Bud Crawford stopped Spence. You know what I mean? And then you ain't gonna like it. Then you ain't gonna like it.
I you know what? I already know how Ahmed is when it comes to Bud. But listen, this I'm not basing it off of anything, any life thing. I'm basing it off the physicality and the attributes that Bivol possesses. And that dude, he knows his way around that ring. And Canelo, he ain't gonna be able to break him down like he did Caleb Plant. It ain't gonna be that type of that fight, man. He in for a real deal fight, and he might get set on his pockets. I'm telling you that.
What you think?
Cause wait. Here's the thing. Cause he a true 175 pounder, a true 175 pounder, and Canelo ain't used to getting hit like that. Once he get hit, I'm telling you, he gonna be a lot more timid. And David Benavidez even said it. David Benavidez said that when because he spars Bivol a lot. They know each other like the back of each other's hand because they spar so much. He said that Bivol is he with the business. Bivol a killer, man.
So Mike T says Canelo by decision. Canelo was able to catch Lara to the body. What makes you think he won't catch? What makes you think he won't against Bivol? Thanks, Mike T, for the super chat. Stephen, Mike hits the nail on the head. Canelo was able to catch Lara, who's far slicker, far faster, smaller. What makes you think he won't catch Bivol?
No, basically.
Okay. So, well, hold on, man. Let me say something real quick. So, Mike T, you saying okay? So Canelo, so what? He caught Laura to the body, but you know what? Laura really won that fight. I said it. I'm gonna be honest with you. Laura winning. He won that fight. What you say? Let's get a poll and let's get a poll going. Let's get a poll going, and we can all see. Laura really won that.
It was close. It was close. I don't know about win. It was close. You know, the thing is with Lara though, Stephen, he's kind of like, you know, with Lara, he tries to steal rounds. Like he's not like, you know, like you got Mayweather. Mayweather makes it conclusive. Lara doesn't make it that conclusive. Like, I don't know with Lara. I don't feel like he asserts himself like you need to make sure.
But what I'm saying on Iran was that Mike T simply he made the assumption that, you know, if Canelo goes to the body with Bivol, he's gonna have the same is gonna reap the same benefits, and that's not true. That's not true. I mean, number one, Bivol is a lot more durable and a lot more stronger than Laura because you talking about what 2 or 3 weight classes in between? Come on, man. Bivol's gonna be he gonna bring that he gonna bring that pain.
So there's a lot of things going on here. There's a lot. So let's make bets. So Bernie Mac says let's make bets. Canelo sleeps Bivol. I've studied them both. Bivol hasn't shown power in his last fights. What makes you think he hurts Canelo? Steven, this is a question. Bernie Mac is putting it on.
Hey man, that's ridiculous, man. That's you know what? That's ridiculous. Canelo ain't finna sleep no Bivol. You crazy? He ain't finna sleep Bivol. Bivol a true 175 pounder. Man, you know what, man? What's been happening is a lot of these fights, man. We've been inundated with a lot of fake fights here. The Floyd Mayweather's in the what's his name, Logan Paul's, and the Logan Pauls, and all you know, the Javante Tate Davis and Barrios and all these. Listen, he stepping there with Bivol. He in there with a real true gangster. He in there with a real true killer. Okay, he definitely not gonna sleep Bivol. You don't want to make that bet. You don't want to lose that money.
Steven, look at the questions coming in. Steven, winning football super chat says, Steven always against Canelo. Canelo by decision. Steven, man, they're always after you. They're always after you. Steven's giving his opinion.
They always are.
Yo, Steven, what do you make of what they're what? Go on, Steven, a comeback from you.
Well, I mean, it's no comeback. I mean, the proof is in the pudding. Everybody who's against me on that, everybody has their favorite fighter, and right now the flavor of the moment is Canelo. So Canelo, he means a lot to him. You know, I understand that heritage wise, and you know they share the same background, racial background or whatnot. But you know what? That's not what I'm calling it like that. I'm calling it based off of what I've seen from Canelo in his whole entire career. Listen, I never said Canelo was a sucker. I never said that Canelo wasn't no killer. I'm just saying in there with Bivol, he losing that fight. He gonna lose that fight.
All right, Mike T says, thanks for the stupid chat, Mike. He says, I get your point, man, but Canelo has carried his power well up to 175, and his skills has improved since. What do you make of that?
Hey, when was the last time? I mean, I wonder if these dudes. When was the last time they seen Bivol fight? When was the last time you seen him fight, man?
Yeah, I agree with you there. I don't think they've seen him fight.
Huh?
I don't think they've seen him fight. You're right.
Yeah, they ain't seen him fight, man. You just don't be on here just saying stuff that you ain't seen him fight. You gotta go check out Bivol. He with the business, dude. That dude with the business. I ain't saying this for my health.
Yeah, you've got to watch 4 or 5 fights of Bivol and then make a decision on him.
Kirsten, what's going on, bro?
Hi, I messaged you, about Amir Khan, and I don't know if the Crawford. No, I'm a Brook fan, but I don't know if they made Amir Khan think he was ready, because in them sparring clips, those sparring partners weren't even hitting Amir Khan back, and he looked terrible.
He did, yeah, he did.
And you know, money talks.
I agree, man.
If Amir Khan was training and he didn't look that good, he would have probably pulled out of the fight, and then someone's not getting paid.
I hear where you're coming from.
This is what Mike Tyson said. He said that a lot of the stuff that you see is not always over the table. Some of it's under the table. And I wanted that fight to be like a back and forth. You know, that's what I wanted because of the bad blood. But I think the bad blood kept Amir Khan up on his feet for the 6 rounds. But I just feel like because Amir Khan, I didn't think it was necessarily the hand speed. I think it was the foot speed had gone. He couldn't keep away from Brook's timing. You know, and just the desire.
I agree. I totally agree with you.
He even looked scared. Amir Khan even looked scared on the white ring wall. His legs were gone. He was even trying to jog jogging. You know, because if a boxer's legs go,
Mm.
it's amazing. He lasted the 6 rounds.
Just heart, eh? It's just pure heart.
Because you know when a boxer's under pressure and they feel that tension and the gas tank is running dry.
Mm.
Can you imagine the feeling?
Mm-hmm.
But I gotta amend Amir Khan for taking that defeat and like a man.
Mm.
You know that's the hardest thing to do, to take a defeat like that and then graciously accept it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. I agree.
Speaks a lot about his character too, though.
Yeah.
Just to add on to what you were saying.
Andre Ward made a great point about Amir Khan that he struggles to make them adjustments if someone's going wrong in, either plan B and plan C. It's not there for him.
But it's hard to really judge at this point in his career because I just feel like he was so shot to bits in that fight. He was so like I just think his body wasn't there anymore. Sometimes you just don't have it anymore, and you don't have it anymore. You don't have it. He shouldn't be fighting anymore. For me.
But this is why Amir Khan should not have took that fight, because regardless of whether you think Brook could beat him in his prime, I personally think he could have. But there's people that think Amir Khan would have won, but because of this fight, people's train of thought now is Brook would have always beaten him.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's fair, because I remember when Roy Jones lost to Tarver, and the people were saying the same thing. They forgot about what Roy was like in his absolute pomp.
Yeah, but Roy, you can't even compare Khan to Roy, because Roy was in a different league. Before heavyweight, he would have won every single round against Tarver.
I don't think he's comparing. I think he's just
no.
saying
I'm just saying the decline. The decline of the fighter.
Yeah.
And Roy's decline just dropped off immediately.
I think
and Roy Jones wasn't a chinny fighter. Really, Roy Jones wasn't a chinny fighter in his prime. But because he lost the weight, there's something to do with the water in your brain. And when you lose that much weight, it starts affecting your punch resistance. After that, people said, "Oh, Roy Jones he's always been chinny." And now that chinny Roy Jones stigma.
Thing with Roy Jones.
I agree with you, bro. I'm sorry. Go ahead, but man, I'll jump in after this.
Thing with Roy Jones is that he already proved it when he came down from heavyweight. He beat Tarver anyway. Anything after that was irrelevant.
Yeah, I agree with you.
He beat Tarver at his weakest.
Yes, yeah, but the people don't look at that fight.
Yeah, but that's the kind of hardcore fans know, innit? Hardcore fans know.
That's hardcore fans do know, but you always get judged on your last fight. Which is sad.
but you guys are also. I'm gonna agree with the gentleman that was just mentioning about how he beat Tarver at his weakest. And again, there is no right or wrong answer on this one, but people tend to forget a couple of things about Roy Jones Jr. Roy Jones Jr. when he was a middleweight, when he went up to light heavyweight, the people forget the speed, the ferocity, the strength. The guy was just cantankerous how he fought. I mean, he had no mercy. Speed, head movement, the agility, footwork. My God, people tend to forget about what Roy Jones did for many years. Look what he did to Winky Wright, man. I mean, the guy was just a mastermind at his peak. I agree. Once he went up in weight, and he started just trying to dominate more and more. That's when eventually it all caught up to him, and that's when he just got chinny. You know what I mean?
Cito, I want to get your opinion. I want to get your. Yeah, go on, Stephen. Go on, Stephen.
No, go ahead. What was you about to say?
No, you were gonna say something. I'll go after you.
I was just gonna say, man. Really, my man. His point he's making about Roy Jones Jr. in his prime. I mean, that's true. I mean, I ain't never seen no boxer on this planet do to Rinky White, do do Winky right like Roy did him.
My
Roy was
God, brother, do you remember what he did to Winky Wright? And just
yep,
again, for those years that he
Winky Wright.
dominated.
Winky
yep.
Wright he fought Bernard Hopkins. He never fought Roy.
Who?
Winky Wright fought Bernard Hopkins. He never fought Roy Jones.
He fought Roy Jones too. Yeah,
Did he?
yeah.
Yeah.
Roy Jones beat Bernard Hopkins and Tony, innit?
Yeah. Roy Jones beat Bernard Hopkins and Tony, but I don't think he's ever fought Winky Wright. But Hopkins did, and Hopkins beat him. But it just shows you Hopkins and Tony at their peaks were unbelievable.
Oh, Bernard Hopkins is another one. I remember last week, 2 weeks ago, when I did a live chat with you, Imran, when I pointed out something. I pointed out some valuable things that a lot of people just overlook about Bernard Hopkins. You got to remember, for 10 years, he was the lineal middleweight champion and the only one in history or historically to defend his crown for 10 years in a row. Please tell me somebody who's been able to accomplish what that man did. He annihilated my fellow Puerto Rican from Felix Trinidad, how he displayed craftsmanship, just ring generalship, his IQ, his footwork,
Yeah.
hand speed, and how he mentally just broke down Tito Trinidad, for crying out loud. That's when I respected the executioner for that masterpiece of display he did in boxing. The younger generations now need to look up on YouTube and study how Bernard Hopkins used to fight.
But
Yeah.
in Bernard Hopkins' prime, only Roy Jones beat him.
Yep. And James Tony.
Uh,
Think about James Tony
Yeah,
too.
James Tony was another one with the Philly shell, man. When he was a middleweight, that he was another mastermind.
Yeah. The thing is with Roy's style, though, I feel like Roy had a young man's style. And I said this last week when I was talking about Khan, that they have a young man's style. Their style relies on hand speed, foot speed, and it's not a very fundamentally sound style.
No,
Hence
but
why as they get older, they slow down and they look terrible. Like Roy Jones towards the back end of his career looked bad, man. He was getting
Yeah, because
yeah, but the thing with Roy Jones is he lost his first fight at the age of 35. We all tend to forget that.
yeah, I know. But thing is, when he lost that first fight, right? After that, he was never really like. That's what I mean. But Roy Jones was probably the closest to an unbeatable fighter we've ever seen. Like
Yeah.
in his prime, he was unbeatable.
I think the thing with Roy Jones is his legs were he'd always have his legs wider than everybody else. He'd just stand with a wider foot. The way he would stand, and because of his athleticism, he could get away with it. But once that started to deteriorate, that was it. He couldn't get away, just like everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
But a thing about Ward saying Canelo, saying Triple G avoided him, I think he did. But at the same time, Ward's ducked fighters too, and I believe he ducked Stevenson at 175 and 168.
I want to ask
Come
you
on,
guys
Donna.
about that. Kirsten makes a good point. Golovkin and Ward were going back and forth on Twitter. Kirsten, you probably saw that. They were going back on, and Ward said that Golovkin ducked, and Golovkin came back and said, "Stop lying." What do you guys make of that?
I agree with Andre Ward. I think Golovkin and his team ducked him.
Go on, Cito. Sorry, Cito's. Go on, Cito. But then Ahmed can go. Cito.
I was just no. I was just gonna say that back and forth between Triple G and Andre Ward. Look, people. Let's just go back to the basics. Andre Ward was from the Super 6 tournament. The man was an Olympian. He never got disputed in that division. Triple G, with whatever, in two separate weight classes. And unless one was willing to go up or one was willing, you know what I mean? It's sitting there and being like arguing about, who would have won this fight or who would have done that. None of them ever had a formal agreement of going up or going down. It was always just rumored as one guy is criticizing the other and they're calling each other out, but it never was written in paper and it was never even made. So you know what I mean? That's just my 2 cents on that one. That's why I'm like,
Go
whatever.
after Ahmed. I'm gonna go.
Yeah,
Go on.
I just think I'm with Andre Ward on that one, and I think Triple G and his team were sensible. His team must be sensible, not letting him fight Andre Ward because I think he would have got schooled. I think of Andre Ward.
No,
Uh,
Ahmed, come on. I don't think anyone can school Triple G.
no, Andre Ward is bigger,
I don't think.
stronger, had the better IQ, and
Andre Ward was a beast.
Did
I
he had
think
the better? What he had better? Like, listen, you know what? I think Golovkin gets very disrespected. I tell you why. Just because he's a come forward pressure fighter, right? Golovkin cuts off all the exits. He cuts
Look
off
what he
all
did
the
to
exits.
look,
He's
look.
very, very fighter. You
Yeah, I'm
can't.
just
You
gonna.
can't. Like, you can't school Golovkin. You can't school. Golovkin's not Froch, Ahmed. He's not Froch. You
Yeah, I was
can't
gonna
school
say
Golovkin.
Imran, just
Andre
real
Ward
quick,
can fight
just
well on
just
the
take
back
a.
foot.
Go on.
Yeah, I was just gonna simply say, look what he did to Lemieux. Lemieux was a power puncher. I think he punched strong. I think he's punched a little bit harder than Triple G. And look at what Triple G did. He put up a clinic. He
Yeah.
boxed him all the
But
way and then knocked him out at the end. He took away Lemieux's
Andre
arsenal.
Ward's
Well, see, here's the thing, man. It's going back to what you said earlier. It's like, man, we get in the habit of saying like somebody dug the another fighter when they were in two totally different weight classes. Unless they were gonna, unless it was agreed that they're gonna fight at the catch weight, which we all kind of have our sentiments about catch weight. Then what's the use of saying that he ducked him? I mean, he didn't duck him. He fought Canelo, and because that was the best fight. They were in the same weight class. He chose to fight Canelo, and that's what happened. He wasn't ducking Andre SOG Ward.
Steven, I want you to let your feelings know for Golovkin because I know you have a soft spot for Golovkin because you feel he doesn't get his credit, he doesn't get his flowers. Because you were telling me the
Yeah,
other day. Steven.
right. He don't get his flowers, see? And I am a little partial, but I'm not gonna let my bias. I'm not gonna let it interfere with what's factual. So what's factual is that the there was no hardcore talk and no hardcore negotiations to make that fight happen. So so to say that he ducked him, that's bull crap.
But Andre Ward is saying that though. Ward is
But
saying that.
guys, what I'm going to say is people forget just how much ring IQ Andre Ward had. Forget the body work. Some of the body work, we nullify an opponent and just go straight to the body. I think is so overlooked. He could fight many different ways. Andre Ward. He didn't have to fight one way.
Yeah, this is what I mean.
Found a way. He would have had to take a special talent to beat Andre Ward.
No one's gonna deny that Andre Ward was a special fighter. The guy was an impeccable fighter. I still think he lost that first fight against that Russian fighter
Kovalev.
with Kovalev. I still think he lost that one. That he come back it was pretty tight towards the end. But again, Andre Ward was given the victory, and that's all that matters. He was given the W. I still think that he got beaten that fight. But at super middleweight, he was a very special fighter. He was dedicated, but he never reached the same accolades, sorry, as Canelo. And you know, he made history. He retired what, 49-0 or 50-0?
Who?
Andre Ward.
And 32-0. 32-0.
Yeah.
Okay. 32-0. Okay, I thought he did.
So what do you guys think of?
But last thing about Triple G. Triple G does deserve his flowers. Actually, he deserves to be recognized because he was the most feared middleweight in the time that he was dominating. But I remember I told you this, Imran. he got exposed when he fought against Kell-Brook because Kell-Brook was landing shots on him based on speed. When Canelo fought him the first time, it could go either way. I'm not going to sit there and argue with people that Canelo lost, that Canelo won, or Triple G should have legitimately won. I had that fight completely a tie because Canelo demonstrated, that he can bob and weave. He ducked a lot of the punches. Triple G only landed 5 right hands out of an entire fight that he just was jabbing Canelo to death, and that was it. It was, to me, it was too close of a call to call that victory one way or another. But Triple G, without a doubt, at the time when he was a WBC champion, when he did, he dominated the middleweight class. No one has been able to be the most feared monster in the middleweight division. Triple G earned that title, and I just think people just tend to forget that the guy was he was a force to be reckoned with.
Yeah, he definitely was. He definitely
Yeah,
was.
I just think the way Canelo and Golovkin fought, we hardly knew who won the fight. It could have gone left or right, but I think Andre Ward would have beat Golovkin convincingly, though. Obviously, I'm not taking anything away from Triple G. Our middleweight, he was a beast. He's a beast.
He couldn't beat. Here's the thing, Ahmed. He couldn't beat Kovalev easily, though.
Kovalev had a lot of confidence going into the fight. He was unbeaten, and I think Ward edged him. Ward did beat him, and over the 2 legs, Ward was proved to be a much better fighter.
But guys, what do you guys think? How come Adonai Stevenson don't get any credit? He just don't get any credit. That guy had a left hand from hell.
Yeah, he did, man. He did.
And I think he would have been the most dangerous guy now. If he was in his prime today.
I think he could have beaten Ward, Kirsten. I think he could have beaten Ward. He was dangerous.
Yeah, that's Ward. The fight. Yeah, that's the fight. I think Ward ducked Stevenson, and I think because of that left hand, because he'd only need to land it once.
And Kirsten, here's the thing: Stevenson had the kind of power where he could wipe Ward out with one punch, like he could just change the complexion with one. Whereas I don't know.
What I'm saying.
I don't know whether Kovalev had that kind of power. Like Stevenson could concuss you with one punch. What do you guys think?
That's what I'm saying, and I don't think Kovalev wanted to fight Stevenson. I don't. When it was going on, I don't think he wanted to fight Stevenson. That left hand is so awkward.
Yeah.
Okay. Here. Go ahead. Sorry.
Go on, Steven. What were you saying?
Well, real quick. I was just gonna say, if there's any evidence of Andre Ward ducking anybody, it was Adonis Stevenson. Now he did duck Adonis Stevenson, and it was for all the right reasons. If I was a fighter, go ahead.
Steven, I was gonna say, I'm like, didn't Bernard Hopkins at a very ripe age, but still skillful fighter, when he was now known as the Alien, didn't he beat Adonis Stevenson convincingly?
Did he?
No, he never fought.
No, I don't think.
No, he never fought Hopkins.
Hopkins.
You're on about Pascal.
Yeah. I'm confusing the two. Yeah, you're right. Adonis Stevenson. Now he did avoid him.
But that was a good performance from Hopkins at that age.
Yeah, I was about to say, I'm like doing the push-ups in the middle of the ring.
That shows you what Hopkins was like in his prime.
Mm-hmm. I'd have to agree, though. I think Stevenson might have been a bit too dangerous. What do you guys think? Canelo and Stevenson. How do you think that one goes?
I think if he lands on Canelo, as good as Canelo's chin is, if he lands cleanly, it doesn't matter if you've got good chin or not. Your legs are you're going.
Mm-hmm.
And he could set it up. He had great feints as well. If you could tell me if I could choose certain fighters that I would choose to fight Roy Jones to see if I could get them to beat him, Stevenson would be one of the 5 that I would choose to try and, because all he need to do is land one.
No, not in Roy's prime. In Roy's prime,
I favour Roy. I think Roy beats him, but I'm saying one mistake and he'd go as well.
No, I don't think so.
All right, now here's a question for the panel.
Now that I think about it, Roy Jones didn't fight Winky Wright. I don't think he fought him.
No, he didn't. Didn't.
No, he never.
He fought Tony and Hopkins.
Tony
And,
Hopkins and McClellan. Not McClellan. Tony Hopkins and Mike McCallum.
Later on he fought Felix Trinidad. That was after his prime.
Guys, a question.
But you know what was sad for me was when Roy Jones lost to Calzaghe. That was.
Yeah.
That
was
but Joe Calzaghe was an amazing fighter, man.
Yeah, he was a good fighter.
He was a bad man.
He was good, but
I mean, but remember the fight. Remember Joe Calzaghe when I think was one of his final performances, even against Bernard Hopkins. That was a competitive fight. That was an amazing competitive fight.
That was a very close fight. That in the 11th round, the dad said to Joe Calzaghe, "If you don't go out here, we've lost the fight. We've lost the fight."
Yeah, I'm like, I remember that fight. Man.
Guys, a quick question. Space Predator, thanks for the super chat. He basically says, I can't respect a fighter who retired at 33. So he's talking about Andre Ward, ducked life and ran away. What do you guys make of it? He retired at 33.
That's another thing. Yeah, that's another thing. I think Andre Ward left the light heavyweight division because of Berbatov. Berbatov was the mandatory.
Arthur Beterbiev.
Yeah, he was the mandatory, and you know what? That would have been risky for Ward. More power than Kovalev.
Kirsten, would he have won that fight?
I'm not sure. He might have found a way, but the Beterbiev, when he lands something, it just changes things.
Yeah,
it can just touch you, and then you're not the same for the whole round. So what do you guys think? Ward versus him.
Beterbiev. Steven Soto, what do you think? Ahmed. Sito.
I honestly, go ahead, brother. Go ahead. After you first.
Go ahead. Well, you want my okay? I think I don't know, man. I think at that point, I think Andre Ward, he was just in the zone, man. He was just on a tear. And I don't think that I don't think Beterbiev had the skills to beat him and the knowledge to beat him at that point in time. Now, was it a risky fight? Yeah, that's a risky fight. But I think that if you wanted to push me to give you a victor of that fight, I think I would have rolled with Andre Ward.
I'm gonna agree with you. I honestly think maturity and ring IQ wise, I honestly think Andre Ward would have outboxed him. To be honest with you, Beterbiev at that time wasn't the fighter that he is now. He had raw power, he had decent boxing skills, but he was pretty green.
He beat Kovalev in the amateurs.
Yeah, but remember, there's a huge difference between the amateurs and the professional ranking, man. I mean, Miguel Cotto got beat up by a handful of fighters that turned pro, and look at where Miguel Cotto's career went versus the other people that he might have fought in the amateurs that somewhat turned pro. You know what I mean? The pros are completely different from the amateurs.
What a great fighter Cotto was, by the way.
Cotto was my idol, man. Yeah. From Puerto Rico all day. I'm always gonna run with my Puerto Rican fighters, but you know what I mean. Here's the question here. Oh yeah, he was a good technician.
He took that uppercut. He ate it from judo. He ate that uppercut.
Yeah, and
Emmanuel Stewart called that uppercut a few seconds before it landed.
Yeah, he also had a good fight against Shane Mosley, but Shane Mosley was already at the downside of his career, but he still had some juice in it too. You know what I mean? But no, this is the question I was going to pose for the panel. Everybody seems to forget something about middleweight since we were talking about Triple G. What about Sergio Martinez? That guy was a beast too. That fight never came to fruition. I would have loved to see that one happen. But I'm
Remember
talking
his knockout of who was it? His knockout, Paul Williams.
Williams. Oh my God.
Paul Williams. Yeah. Paul Williams versus Mayweather. Mayweather's uncle said he'd be the most dangerous welterweight for Floyd because of the height and reach. But he never seemed to use it. That's the only thing.
Now that was a true boogeyman of the boxing world. Was Paul Williams? Remember that a lot of people avoided him.
I remember seeing Paul Williams. I remember seeing him in person, and I'm telling you, man, we didn't want no part of Paul Williams. If Paul Williams didn't have that accident, and he he crippled himself. You know what I'm saying? You know, he in that wheelchair now, but Paul Williams he was with the business. He's with the total business. And whoever said that about Miguel Cotto was, you know, he was a killer too. But my favorite fighter from Puerto Rico of all time was Felix Tito Trinidad. That was my
Oh
dude.
my God!
yeah.
That I was remember I was telling you that's when I learned to respect Bernard Hopkins because that's when I observed just how masterfully he fought. Man, the way he went into Puerto Rico, threw the Puerto Rican flag down. I'm like, oh, in my mind, I'm like, oh no, fuck him for disrespecting my culture. But then you know what I mean? It was all a mind game, and the way I remember the words. If quote me if I'm wrong on this one. If anyone remembers that fight, at the end of the day, once he beat him and he said it in front of everyone in the world, he's like, listen, he's like, Puerto Ricans are my people. He's my brother. He's just as black as I am. He just simply said, I had to get into this man's mind because if I didn't get into his mind, it would have been a different outcome. And he was humble
Yeah.
to the very end, a true gentleman. And I mean, he displayed that he was the executioner for a reason. That's why I respected Bernard Hopkins. He was a gentleman to the very end with what he accomplished.
Well, there's some good days.
Another fighter. I don't know if you guys remember him, but this fighter, I would have chose him to fight Mayweather at the time. And there was a bit of beef, and his name was Corey Spinks.
Oh yeah,
I remember him.
Now that guy was
Corey,
I think stylistically would have given Mayweather a real problem.
Yeah, he was good, and you know he was flashy and everything, but he wasn't. You know, I think Floyd would have made short work of him. He would have made short work of Corey Spinks.
Steven, you're having issues with your connection.
What happened?
Having an issue?
Your connection's going off.
Mine or someone else's?
Steven, something's up with your connection. I think.
Hold on 1 second.
See if Steven can come back. Guys, you there?
I'm here.
Yeah, I'm here. Yeah, it was just sad. I think it was more of a letdown with the Kell-Brook fight. I expected more from the fight, you know.
What's going
even
on with
though I know they were both finished.
What's going on with the connection here? Yeah, 1 sec, guys. I don't know what's going on with the connection. What's going off here? Guys, can you hear me?
I can hear you loud and clear, Imran.
All right, okay. It's just that it's gone a bit dodgy. Yeah. So, what do you? So, Cito, I forgot to ask you. What do you make of the Canelo and Bivol fight?
I was really hoping Canelo was going to fight Charles, to be honest with you. But that fight, I think it's going to be competitive. I honestly think it's probably going to go all 12. I don't think Canelo's going to knock him out. I think it's going to go all 12. And I honestly think Canelo's probably just going to go in there and he's just going to dominate based on boxing skills. He's going to use speed and head movement.
Me personally, I want to see him fight Benavidez.
Everybody's craving that fight, man. Everybody's.
But I don't think that will happen. I just don't think it will happen.
What's going on?
Sorry, gentlemen. I got my dog out here just running around. Just getting home from work.
Can you hear me? 1 sec.
I can hear you.
Hear me, guys?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah. So, what do you think, Cito, about the Canelo Bivol fight?
I like I said earlier. I think it's gonna go all 12.
Right.
I think it's gonna go all 12. I think Canelo's gonna win, but it's not gonna be an easy fight.
I think the first Triple G fight, that Triple G was quite far ahead to me in the first one. The second one, I think I gave it to Canelo, but that's what I'm saying. If Bivol's gonna win it, he's gonna have to win most of the rounds really convincingly.
Yeah, he's gonna have to land this powerful jab and control him from the outside because if Canelo gets into the inside, he's gonna beat him.
Yeah, because I just even if it's close, it goes to the Canelo straight away.
Well, remember in boxing politics how it normally works. The champion always gets I don't know how many points to the challenger. So he's going to have to go in there and either knock him out or put in a master class of boxing. He's going to have to perform really good. To be honest with you.
Yeah.
So you really think Canelo had? I mean, Triple G had the victory on the first fight. The only reason why
I
I
think
call it a
Triple G,
draw.
the first fight, Triple G definitely beat Canelo, but again, they made it a draw. I mean,
I
but
think
the second
the
fight,
only
it could have went either way. If Canelo won. But the first fight, that type of decisions shouldn't be in boxing.
the only reason why I'm gonna give it a draw cleanly. This is why I say I have a hard time favoring one fighter over the other. Is Triple G did get exposed in that fight to be. He's gentle. He's friendly. I'm sorry. I'm talking to my neighbor. The reason why I give it to that it was a draw is because if you think about it, all Triple G did was he showed pressure. He jabbed beautifully. He closed the ring off, but Canelo ducked every punch Triple G threw at him, except that right hand that landed on that overhand hook that landed on the sixth, where Canelo kind of got rocked and got pushed against the ropes, and he was just like, nope, 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 nope. That was like the only
Yeah,
clean punch that I seen Triple G land. Other
but it
than
was the
that,
jabs.
I
The jabs was causing Canelo some
yeah,
serious issues.
yeah, he was closing it off, but again, also look at what Canelo was landing. Everybody keeps forgetting what Canelo was landing. I don't think Canelo did the smart move by going against the ropes and slipping and ducking and dodging. I don't think that was the smartest move, but I mean, he also exposed Triple G wasn't the monster that everybody pretended to be that he is. You know what I mean? He wasn't. So that's why I'm saying it could have been a toss-up decision.
Right? Yeah.
So,
But
do you think?
I'm saying Canelo has improved. Even when he fights southpaws, he does look like he has improved. Which not many fighters improve after so long. They sort of just deteriorate. Like you look at AJ now, he's deteriorated, and he actually looked better when he was when he had not had many fights under him, because he never had that much weight, as much weight as he does now on him.
Yeah, and that's all self-inflicted with AJ, but I still think AJ is still an amazing boxer. I still think he's a real amazing boxer. I just think he needs to get a better trainer.
Yeah, but also again, it depends if the trainer gets on with the fighter. Sometimes it's very hard to find someone that you gel with.
Come on, boy. Yeah, and I totally agree with you, but I still think honestly he still has the fire to
AJ should
win.
have went to the US. He should have went to the US early, like Lewis did. And then Lewis knew when
Oh my
he
God! Now you're opening up an old memory. Lennox Lewis, man, he was one of my favorite fighters too of the
yeah,
back in the day.
like Lewis when he went with Emmanuel Stewart after he got beat by Oliver McCall.
Yeah, but when
That
Lennox Lewis, man, when he was back in the '90s, he dominated the
oh
heavyweight
man,
division for
oh
many
man.
years.
But a fight I would have liked to seen though is 1989 Evander Holyfield versus Lennox Lewis.
Oh, when it was prime against prime, like when
Yeah,
Evander
because
Holyfield.
I think the Holyfield that fought Bo was completely different to the one that fought Tyson. He had lost the speed of combination. He was a lot quicker when he fought Bo. And
Riddick Bowe back in the day too, man. He was
a
a
beast.
God gifted fighter. Oh yeah, he
Now
was.
that's another one. Bo versus Lewis, both in their prime. We will never know these things.
Yeah, those are mysteries. I guess in this lifetime we won't know till we come
Yeah.
across something like that again. But I mean, either way, man. I still think AJ's got some potential in him. He's still relatively young. He's not washed up. He has what the loss against Andy Ruiz. He bounced back and he displayed that he was on the back foot the whole night boxing, and he lost against a better fighter in Usyk. Usyk is a technically sound fighter, man. Everybody forgets that Usyk, he's a Ukrainian fighter with an Olympic background, almost like Lomachenko. The way he moves, the way he just, it's like poetry in motion. If you've seen him, the way he
So what?
lands his, because he's a southpaw. So think about one thing: the way he fights, he's a bigger version of Lomachenko with a little bit less speed, but the angles, the jab, that overhand, that right, there's that southpaw right hook that he throws, and when he lands his left as a 1-2, he lands that left perfectly all the time. So think about it. When he fought against AJ, he was landing that left hand. He almost knocked him out in the 12th round. Remember that? I think it was like the
Yeah, I
last
remember.
minute. He rocked him because he just kept cracking at his face, just right there, right on the button with that left hand. So I mean, AJ, huh?
Trollmaster says prime Foreman versus 80s and 90s heavyweights, prime for prime. What about Tyson versus a prime Foreman? That would have been something.
That would have been a gift. That would have been a true gift. That would have been a true gift. That's like trying to sit there and imagine Muhammad Ali against like prime Muhammad Ali against Mike Tyson. You get what I mean?
Yeah,
I think
I remember
Tyson.
there's a clip. There's a clip of Customato showing Ali what Foreman should do against him, and he was doing the bobbing and weaving, and Ali was like, he doesn't move like that. He doesn't move like that, and he was basically showing Ali a glimpse of the future, and that was Iron Mike Tyson.
Yeah, Iron Mike Tyson back in the day, man. Yeah,
Yeah, I think
he
Tyson would have beaten Foreman.
Do you reckon?
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
the pressure he would have been able to hit, because Foreman used to get hurt by combinations, never single punches. And I think Tyson's, these combinations on the inside, it was very hard to contain in his prime, where you could hold him and weigh him down, because he was like just a explosion on the inside.
Tyson was a beast. Like a lot of people say he was overrated and stuff. I don't think. I think he was great.
No, he was good.
I don't think Mike Tyson was overrated. I think Mike Tyson was legit when he came out, and the way he defended his crown and the way he demonstrated to the world. He was, even right now at the age of what, 50 something, when he fought against what's his name, Roy Jones. And that was an exhibition match. Look at how when he was training, he was still showing. He was doing this on the heavy bag. He was just, and he just kept showing that he still has that energy. Hell no. Whoever says there and says, "Oh, Mike Tyson was just a hype job," man, you must.
It was
be
the explosion. It was the explosiveness, 0 to 100 in a split second. With
what
power.
made him, and remember one thing, he did have that custom model. It stayed with him, where he kept that closed shell and just kept walking linear, but going side to side. And anytime he would just throw a couple punches, just that explosiveness of that angle, he would just boom, 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 and
but
just
you see,
constantly.
What happened is Kevin Rooney said that Mike was a mental midget, but the thing is, once Customato died, that mentorship of him being there, he would have never allowed Mike to have gone the way he went, and Mike would have been a stronger mental fighter than he was, and I think he would have when Cus told Mike to retire, he would have retired, and he would have retired early. Mike had a short shelf life as well. He was done early.
That's what I mean. That's why I said earlier, there's certain fighters that peak early. Look, Amir Khan peaked early. Mike Tyson peaked early. Roy Jones had a good career early. Certain styles are such where I feel like their styles don't age well. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's like what I was going to say. Oh, carry on.
No, I was just going to simply say, Imran, remember with that last that again, we just keep referring back to the last live chat I had with you. I'm a huge Amir Khan fan. I just think Amir Khan was just he took too much punishment, and instead of working
Yeah.
on being a little bit more defensive and using his intelligence, because the guy's a smart man, but instead of using his intelligence to just be more of a technician when he would land his punches and move, I just think he confided a lot in his speed,
Yeah.
that his hand speed too much, and he wasn't moving. That was his problem. He would just be too open, and he would
Can
absorb too many shots.
Can you imagine Amir Khan if he had went with a good trainer from the beginning before the amateurs? He would have been a completely different. With that speed, he would have been frightening.
Oh my God,
Frightening.
yes, of course he would have. I
Look,
just think honestly, Freddie Roach just didn't put the energy into him like he did to Manny Pacquiao. Had had Amir Khan after his first loss against like British Prescott, and he would have just came and he wanted to found like that mentor, that father figure that would have just taken him under his wing and truly
But
molded him
it's
to
very
just.
hard. It's also very hard
Oh,
to
of
change the
course.
fighter, you see. And this is why if Amir had went
Come on.
with a someone like Andre Ward's trainer from the beginning, he would have been absolutely frightening. But another thing I was going to say, Imran, was Mike. You know, such I know they say a punch is the last thing to go on fighters, but some fighters' power is based off their speed,
Mm.
Come on.
and once that speed goes, that power ain't there anymore.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with that. Yeah,
Yeah,
I think
this.
Khan used to have that surprise factor with his speed, where he used to be able to push people back, right?
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah,
Sorry, guys.
but
Charlie, come on.
he was never a big 147 pounder. His
No, he
prime
was.
was at 140,
Mm.
and then when he moved up, he had pop, but
Mm.
um, but he wasn't a big 147 pounder, and really Canelo should not have called him up to
Say.
that weight.
Mm. No,
You know,
no, I agree. I agree.
Sorry, guys. Got my wolf dog over here just running around like a crazy guy in my garden. Come on.
can
the
Emma.
you can you
thing with Canelo is when Mayweather made him do that, he wanted to start following him as well. That's why he did that to Amir Khan.
Mm.
yeah. Yeah, and Canelo would keep bringing fighters down to certain catch weights as well until people started getting angry on social media and calling him out for it.
Yeah, but see, here's the thing that I don't like when people bash Canelo for bringing someone down to a catchweight. Manny Pacquiao, and I love Manny Pacquiao. Okay, my mom is from the Philippines. I'm not just a Puerto Rican. My Manny Pacquiao used to do catchweights for the first half of his career. Look at what he did when he was at Walter. He brought I believe, who did he bring down to a catchweight? I know he did it to when he was at
He did
154.
it.
He did it to Margarito. He did it to Cotto to 144. He did it to what's old boy, the hitman from your country, from the UK. He did
Hatton,
it to
Hatton.
yeah, he
No,
did it to Ricky Hatton.
he fought Ricky Hatton at 147.
Okay, did he? Because I know
No,
when he
Yeah,
fought
140.
Oscar De La Hoya.
but he
I know
also
when he fought De La Hoya. It
he
wasn't
pulled
at
Canelo. He
47.
pulled De La Hoya down. He pulled
Yeah.
De La Hoya struggled to make that weight. He looked like a crack addict.
Yeah, look what he did to Cotto. Same thing. Cotto was the champion at 47, but because Pacquiao drew a bigger name and he was just like that face at that
I don't know
time,
when what weight did that fight? Was that a catch
that was
weight?
no, yeah, it was at a catchweight, 144. It was a welter. It was a welterweight. It was a welterweight championship fight, and it was at one. It was supposed to be set at 147, but Manny ended up drawing him down to 144.
But
That's what I'm
that Manny
saying.
Pacquiao was frightening. That Manny Pacquiao was seriously frightening.
He was a
Floyd
monster.
avoided that Manny Pacquiao.
Yeah,
I
I
don't
know he
blame
did.
him. That Manny Pacquiao was a monster. I don't think anyone wanted that guy. That guy
No,
was.
but I'm saying, Manny Pacquiao brought fighters to a catch weight.
Mm.
Mayweather brought Canelo to a catch weight at 152. It wasn't at a solid 154. Look at Canelo; he looked weight drained. He looked like a freaking skeleton.
Mm.
So I
Mm.
mean,
Oh,
so when Canelo,
someone says Pac was at one. De La Hoya Pac was at 147, and Pac vs Cotto was at 145 catch weight.
okay, I thought it was 144.
Yeah. So
But it's still a
Yeah, because
catch
no,
weight.
you're right. Because I'm like, You're right. When he fought De La Hoya at 147, De La Hoya was coming down from what 160 because he had already been a middleweight champion, gotten beaten, and he had drained down
Oh
to
yeah,
147.
Cotto was the lineal champ at 160 and made Canelo go down to 155 for their fight. All
Yeah,
right.
But they all do
catch
it.
weight.
All the guys that have the power do stuff like that. That they all do it, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, but it's terrible though, eh? That's not the way to do things. If you think you can beat someone, you know, be
Buy 'em
fair.
at that
But
best
again,
weight.
these same day weigh-ins where fighters balloon up to like 170 pounds and you're fighting at 147 pounds, that ain't
Yeah.
fair.
Yeah, that ain't fair either.
Because
Yeah.
I agree
you
with you.
got
Look at Mayorga. Mayorga when he fought against Oscar De La Hoya back in the day. What was the weight at one? Was it at welter or or was it at 154 when they fought? Either way, Mayorga used to blow up to almost a goddamn super middleweight. You know what I
yeah.
mean? He was a big.
This is what I'm saying. They should have same day weigh-ins. They should have same day weigh-ins and only a few hours before the fight, and then get monitored before the fight
But
to
they
see
say
if
it's
they're
dangerous
okay.
to do that.
You know who was notorious. You know who was notorious for blowing up in weight like that, and I think he still is, even though I don't think he's super relevant. What's his name? Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. I don't know
Yeah.
how
Oh
the
yeah,
hell he would make 160, but then when the next day when he would walk into the rink, he was like almost 190.
yeah.
Yeah.
He was a big dude.
Yep, that's what
Very.
I'm saying. Obviously, it's quite dangerous to weigh them a few. Okay, not okay. Give them 10 hours, but then obviously monitor them throughout the day because it's not fair. Some fighters can't stay at one weight because they're too big for one weight, but they're not strong enough for that weight because the guys above the weight above are too big for them, so they can't even fit into their own divisions. You know.
Yeah.
I mean, but I mean, we could say that about every weight class in boxing. Then I mean, some boxers naturally walk around at a specific weight, and some just cut weight to be dominant in whatever. Look at Teofimo Lopez. Teofimo Lopez isn't a natural lightweight. He
I
should be
remember.
literally. I think he walks around at what, like 160.
I remember
Tank
when Errol
Davis. Tank,
Spence.
Tank Davis is another one. Tank Davis is my height, about 5'6", stocky and solid fighter. He could literally be a middleweight, and somehow, some way, he used to drain down to what 122, or yeah. Did he ever fight at 122? I think it was 125, 130, 135, 140. You know how much weight he's cutting to make just to make that?
Mm.
It's crazy. That's a lot of wear and tear on your body within years of like you consecutively fighting. No,
I
that's
remember.
dangerous.
I remember Errol Spence when he had his press conference with Khan-Brook, and he said, "You're surprised, eh? Someone your own size." You know, when he said that, I was like, "Oh no, man, this is going to be," because I had a feeling that because Spence was special.
But
Spence is
but
still a
this is
special
what I mean. I
fighter.
feel like Brook and Spence are kind of like weight bullies, man. They're massive for the weight.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Well,
147.
Errol Spence used to fight back in the when he was, I guess, in the amateurs. He used to fight at 160. He was a middleweight.
When Khan-Brook was in his prime, he'd walk around at 165, 168, and then drop all that weight.
To 47.
They were the size of Tommy Hearns coming down in weight, and can you imagine that mental pressure on other fighters when you can feel their strength in the ring?
Yeah,
It's not
I don't think
fair.
it's right. It's not fair, no.
But people don't look at the weights like that. They, you know, he's better than you.
I know I boxed in the amateurs here in Chicago for many years, and I always walked around. I still walk around at 168, and I would only have to cut down 3 pounds to fight at 165, and I thought that was hell. You know what I mean? And it was just like I couldn't imagine myself how, like, even trying to fathom the thought of like a professional going down and saying, like, a
Yeah.
coach tell me, well, for your height, I think you need to go down to 135. Like, hell,
I
I'm not.
remember. Yeah, I mean, I remember spraying someone that was like 3 or 4 stone heavier than me, and even though he weren't touching me, just his presence near me, it was draining me mentally. I couldn't deal with it, the pressure, because I knew if I got hit by him, it'd be a problem.
It was going to be lights out.
And now, yeah, so you're that. Can you imagine these fighters knowing that this guy can hurt you, and the pressure, and then your stamina just goes.
All right,
Guys,
here's a question.
Together.
Here's a question for you. Back to the question or the conversation we were having just like about 10 minutes ago. Paul Williams, he was tall. He was what, 6'4"? And he was campaigning himself as a welterweight. What do you think he naturally walked around at?
I'm not sure. But I think he must have been 170.
He's probably
He must
one of
have
the
been
biggest
170.
welterweights of all time.
Yeah, but he was thin. He was
Yeah, he
thin,
was,
but I
Yeah,
just think
he was tall. He was tall and lanky. That's all he. You know, what I mean, what made him
So
just
he might have been 165, 170, but just the size and the presence of him in the ring, 1,000 punches a fight, nightmare.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah,
There's a guy that's.
I'm pretty
Go
sure
on, go on,
Canelo-Bivol
Makai.
just got announced.
Yeah, say that again.
I think Canelo just versus Bivol just got announced, right? Yeah, it is. Yeah, it has. It's actually like announced, fully announced, like, official.
So it's official now. Okay,
Yeah, it's
cool.
official.
Oh,
What
fuck for that. I thought it was gonna be wrong.
What do you make of that fight, Makai? Canelo v Bivol.
Man, that's a hard fucking fight for Canelo. I don't think he's gonna win that. I think Bivol's gonna win that fight. Yeah, I don't see Canelo winning that fight.
Wow.
Definitely not.
A lot of people are saying that, man. A lot of people are saying that Canelo's
Yeah, I
gonna
definitely don't
lose.
see him winning that.
Really?
No, I don't. I mean, if Canelo wins, then you have to give him like big credit for that.
Yeah, but then you're gonna have people. Then you're gonna have people still criticizing him and saying that he dodged, that he ended up ducking Charlo, that he's
they're
ducking
idiots.
Benavidez, and then you know that they're just a big threat. I mean, Canelo's going for history, win or lose, man. He's stepping in there with one of the most dangerous fighters at 175, and everybody's always gonna have an opinion about him.
You just need to look at it like this, right? Who would win in the fight? Bivol. Bivol would outbox him. He'd dominate him. That's an easy fight for Bivol. Charlo, he's right. He's a weight okay?
I honestly think that Canelo's. I honestly think Canelo's going to school him, but okay.
I think Canelo at long range, Bivol, but if Canelo can close the distance and with his head movement, it'll be a problem. But
I honestly keep I was telling to the gentleman right now. I honestly think Canelo's gonna put up a clinic. If Bivol doesn't control him from the outside and really just do what Triple G did to Canelo the first fight and just control him with that jab. If Canelo comes into the inside or the fight gets brought into the middle of the ring, or should I say the center of the ring, Canelo's going to be tagging his body all day. And I think he's going to do the exact same thing he did to Callum Smith. He's going to look at a specific target, and that's where he's going to keep landing all night.
Bivol hasn't been.
The thing is with Bivol,
Bivol hasn't been really active. I think Benavidez is more of a threat because of the hand speed, the pressure.
Bivol fought. I think pretty sure Bivol fought like a few months ago against Sanamov. Yeah, no, he looked good as well.
But
with
I mean,
Bivol,
with
Bivol, he's right. He's fundamentally very good. Like his technique's very good. He's a great boxer. He knows how to use his feet and everything. He's actually got pop in his punches as well. Like Canelo's not just going to walk forward without no fear of his punch. You know, because Bivol, he's got pop in his punches. He knows how to move and everything. He knows how to use his range. Yeah. This isn't like going to be an easy fight for Canelo. I only see Canelo winning, okay, if he puts a rehydration clause on it like he done with Kovalev.
Kovalev was actually outboxing Canelo.
Yeah, he was just popping him with a jab. Exactly.
But
that was also Canelo's first time going up to 175 to fight someone who's a technician with a jab. Bivol, look, I seen Bivol's training videos that just recently was leaked out on YouTube. Bivol is a small 175 pounder. He could easily be a super middleweight. He could easily be a super middleweight. Bivol, what I see in him, sound-minded and being technical as far as his skill, he's got an amazing jab. He's tall, and he's skinny, but he's got power in both hands. That left hook, his right hand, and he's got angles. But if Canelo cuts that off and he goes to the center and he starts connecting with the body shots, I think it's lights out, man. To be honest with you,
I mean, like
it's a 50-50 fight. I'm going to say it's a 50-50 fight, but I'm giving the edge, just my personal bias, just a little bit, that I think Canelo can take it. But I love Bivol, and I agree with the gentleman just talking that I think Bivol can win if he just boxes him all night. I think he can win easily.
Okay, what about Canelo versus James Toney? Prime,
James Toney. As a middleweight or super.
Middle super or light heavy.
But a young James Toney, nah, man, I would have given James Toney the edge on that one. He had too much power.
And Mike McCallum.
Yeah, don't forget James Toney beat Mike McCallum, and that was a really, really tough fight.
And you know when you watch that, it's like two fighters that it's like you're fighting your shadow.
Yeah, and you remember one thing, James Toney used to use the Philly shell, and he was
better than
a master with it. Yeah, he's the one who perfected the Philly shell. You know what I mean?
He hit it off in combinations.
Yeah, that's what I was just gonna say. Like
one or twos max.
Yeah, but that's what I was gonna tell you. James Toney in his prime, when he used to be able to dodge a punch or just kind of like parry one, he would land 3, 4, 6 punches easily, and he would make you pay for that if you missed. That's the only difference. He was a bigger Floyd Mayweather in that essence when it came down to the Philly shell.
Yeah, Freddie Roach said he's the most naturally gifted fighter he's ever worked with.
I could believe it.
Yeah,
but guys,
that was Toney out of his prime.
But guys, if Canelo went on to beat Bivol and Beterbiev, then we might have to change our minds. That's a big if, though.
I mean, if Canelo beats Bivol, I honestly don't think he should waste his time going to fight Triple J. I think he should just go and fight Bivol afterward. I mean, Beterbiev afterwards.
If he beats them still, he's still not like Toney. Toney was something special.
Oh, dude, James, look, man, every fighter kind of like
and he had a jaw.
But he, like, every fighter, like, that's the thing, man. Like, I don't like it when people, I mean, everybody's free to speak their mind however they have, because that's what having an opinion about is all about, and formulating that. But to compare fighters of the past to fighters of now in modern day history, it's not the same. It's day and night. You know what I mean? Back in the day, you're talking about 70s, 80s, 90s, even early 2000s, politics wasn't as bad as it is now. Now, think about it, like the Tommy Hearns, Roberto Duran, Sugar Ray Leonard days. You know what I mean? When it was champion that fought champion, then there was no ducking. They made it happen. You know what I mean? Now it's like everybody wants to conserve their O, or if you take one L, you know, everybody's just like crapping on you. It's just like,
okay, I see your point, yeah, but
yeah,
if to say I was a professional fighter and I knew if I fight this guy, his chances are he's gonna beat me. I'm not fighting that guy. I'm not fighting him. You know, I would rather stay away from the guy. You know, it's human nature. Why would you want to fight someone that can beat you?
I mean, that's where I guess, in a sense, I'm glad boxing is back alive and it's just flourishing very well. But that's where everybody, like the other fans of the other side of the sport, of another combat sport, MMA, like that's why they say that
they don't get a choice.
Fight each other. Yeah, exactly. And that's where you get the bragging right there. Yeah, you are number one. And
because boxing has built this type of behavior.
Yeah, because 4 different sanctioning bodies, politics with the promoters.
What about you, Imran and the others on here? What do you guys feel in terms of would you fight someone in a boxing fight knowing that they're going to give you a good hiding?
Well, to be
honest,
like,
going to beat you.
The thing is, here's the thing though. Here's the thing. I don't think as a fighter you can think like that. Like, I don't think if you're a fighter, would you think that someone's gonna give me
They're
a high?
human, Imran. They're human.
Yeah, I know they
They're
are
just like
human.
me and you. I
I
know they've got the fighter's mentality. I know they've got the fighter's mentality, but when you've got an inkling that there's someone's going to beat you, and you're a prideful fighter, because they must know. Some of them must know. If I fight this guy, I'm going to get beat.
Right, no one who steps in the ring is 110% confident. Like, there's no way this guy can beat me. They're always going to have fear of what can happen to them. Every fighter has that. I mean, because I box, I'm an amateur boxer. Even when I'm confident I'm going to win the fight, I'm still, got it in my mind a little bit. I can get beat. These things,
it's irrelevant.
A boxer will probably not admit it. Some will, but some boxers probably won't. But yeah, it's true. You always have a little bit of fear in you when you go in there.
At the end of the day, we're all human.
Yeah.
And the most prideful thing, the most hardest thing to do is lose a fight. Mentally, and it's something that if you can recover from loss in life, not just boxing, anything.
Mm-hmm.
But see, that's the problem with professional boxing, though. It's like at least nowadays it is. Everybody wants to conserve that but if they take one L, it's like now it's game over. You're marked. You're done.
Yeah, it's a perception of how. Of how people have made a loss.
Yeah,
if there wasn't so much that perception, then I think it wouldn't be such a big issue.
Because professional fighters back in the day took multiple losses and they bounced back to become world champion 2-3 times in a row, whether it was in the same division or in multiple divisions. That's how it used to be.
Yes, like you said, like in MMA. I don't think they mind taking a loss because it's not the end of their career.
It happens, but I was just going to tell you something about when you were saying about taking a loss, like in human nature. Here we got a phrase here in the United States. Maybe it's in the UK as well, but at least here in my hometown of Chicago, they say every dog has his day.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just remember, there's always someone out there that's going to have your number. And I mean, again, look at Manny Pacquiao when it came down to taking losses. He took a loss in the past from a Dominican fighter who passed away. He lost from a fighter in Thailand. He lost to Morales the first time, bounced back and beat the dog crap out of him 2 times in a row, retiring.
The difference between Manny is his whole nation was behind him. They were behind him when he lost. They were behind him when he won.
Now here
a
you
lot
go.
of the British,
I'm pretty sure.
They just throw their fighters away if they take a loss, and that's it. Or they're no good now. The only one I've seen them stay behind is Derek Chisora. He can take 10 or 15 losses, and the British will love Chisora.
Well, because Chizora's he's a charismatic person, man.
I know, but that's how it should be for all fighters.
For all the fighters, yeah, and I agree with you 100%. Back to telling you about fearing someone else. Here you go. Manny Pacquiao, I'm pretty sure in the back of his head, he did fear one fighter, and he had his number 4 times. Juan Manuel Marquez.
Yeah,
and Juan Manuel Marquez, to me, legitimately, first time they fought was a draw. Second time, I give it to Manny Pacquiao. He won cleanly. The third fight, Marquez should have taken that one. And the fourth time, obviously, Juan Manuel Marquez knocked him out. He knocked him out cold. And to me, Manny Pacquiao was never the same after that one.
And that knockout, he was working on that the whole camp.
Yeah. I remember the training videos I would see him on YouTube when he that overhand right where he ended up popping multiple speed bag balloons. Yeah, I'm pretty sure he was saving that one for.
I actually thought Pacquiao won all 3, and then obviously he lost the last one.
But I think when if he didn't stop Pacquiao with that shot, he was going to get stopped.
He almost got knocked out too in that fourth fight.
Yeah, Pacquiao was lighting him up.
Yeah, no, Marquez was almost gonna get knocked out. He was bleeding. His eye was swollen shut.
Pacquiao was getting dropped as well in that fight, but it just seemed like Pacquiao was getting on top, and he was going to stop him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was a
he
good.
Got he got careless though, and he dropped his hand when he went forward, and just Marquez timed him and
what Pacquiao does is he does this little step where he'll feint, and then he'll feint with his leg and then jump in, and he just timed him.
Yeah, but Pacquiao was also labeled an unorthodox fighter, man, because he can go both ways as a switch hitter.
But that was the best thing that happened to Pacquiao, because apparently Pacquiao couldn't sleep at night. You know, he had that sickness. I forgot the sickness. Oh, what's it called?
Insomnia?
Insomnia. He said that punch that Marquez hit him with cured it.
I'm pretty sure it did. It sent him to the trans universe. I'm sure it did. He was a sleeper 5 whole minutes.
That was you know what? That was one of the scariest knockouts I ever saw when I'm watching it, and it would look like, oh crap.
What about that?
You know, I literally thought he was in a bad way in that fight.
Okay, what about the Hatton knockout? Pacquiao knocking Hatton out. Or that
was horrible as well. That was a bad knockout.
Which was worse?
Hatton. He slept him bad in that one. That was a brutal knockout.
Especially how
so about Ricky Hatton, who do you think had knocked him out worse? Manny Pacquiao or Floyd Mayweather?
Pacquiao.
Oh, Pacquiao.
Pacquiao dropped him hard. That was a brutal knockout.
So your predictions for tomorrow?
My prediction for tomorrow is Josh Taylor, probably within the first 6.
I'm sorry, I love Josh Taylor. I think he's gonna first 6, or I'm just gonna say he's gonna end them within the first 4 rounds. No way in hell. Josh Taylor's too dangerous, man. He is who he is for a reason.
Okay,
I've got Taylor.
Who else?
I've got Taylor by points.
Points.
Edward Cruz. Edward Cruz is saying, do you think Hatton was a hype job?
He was a little.
Then people don't realize that Ricky Hatton was not known as a hitman because he was a hype job. Pardon me. Ricky Hatton earned his name because he demonstrated before he stepped in there with Mayweather and Pacquiao, they were just better fighters than him. But Ricky Hatton, he was a killer, man.
He was good, but after that Costa Zoo fight, he was never the same afterwards. He couldn't take the same type of punishment. That he won that fight, and after that fight, he was never the same. And the fight I would have liked to seen was Judah versus Hatton. That would have been a fight.
That would have been a good fight.
Because back then, Judah was very aggressive.
Yeah, that would have been a tough one for Hatton, you know.
I honestly think Zab Judah wasn't the same after he fought Cotto, though, man. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
I think he weren't the same after he got stopped by Costa Zoo.
Yeah, Costa Zoo ended up beating him pretty good.
Yeah, it was the Costa Zoo fight. But when he was at 140, before that fight, he fought Mickey Ward. I don't know how many fights fought, and he looked like a special fighter. And the power was off the charts at 140 back then.
You know, one fighter I love from the UK that a lot of people just here, at least in the United States, they kind of talk bad about him, but I honestly still think he's a spectacular fighter, regardless if he took a couple losses. Luke Campbell. I still think Luke Campbell's a special fighter.
Yeah, he was a good fighter.
Yeah, I think he's retired now, isn't it?
Yeah, he's retired. Yeah.
Yeah, but he was still a special fighter.
He never fulfilled his potential.
No.
Yeah, Campbell. I think he got cut short of that.
He never filled his potential.
He had a bit of an amateur style, don't you think? His style was a little bit amateurish.
He never filled his potential. But again, I don't think Judah. I don't know he was unified world champion, but I don't think he fulfilled his potential.
He was an undisputed welterweight champion, I think.
Yeah, but I think historically he could have been
Yeah, greater.
He could have beaten Mayweather, but he just weren't mentally strong, you know.
Mayweather was just Mayweather. Mayweather was just.
But I would have, if I could choose a few fighters that could beat Mayweather, that I'd choose to fight against Mayweather, it would probably be someone, Tommy Hearns, Sugar Ray Leonard, people that are fast. I didn't buy into the narrative that you'd have to be a come forward brawler to beat Mayweather. I think someone with good speed and good IQ.
Yeah.
All right. Well, here's a controversial call that everybody seems to keep snoozing on. I honestly thought Marcos Maidana beat him the first time.
Yeah, so did I.
Yeah, I did.
Maidana roughed his ass up all 12 rounds, and he won
lost
by what,
the first
split
fight,
decision?
and he lost against Costello. The first fight.
Yeah, because Castillo, he lost. I honestly think De La Hoya beat him. I honestly think
De La Hoya, okay, maybe, but it was debatable. But
it could have been
two losses.
Or they should have called, or they should have called that one a draw with De La Hoya. De La Hoya gave him a good fight.
Yeah. I mean, he's got the two fights that he lost was Costello won and Maidana won.
Yeah. Marcos Maidana definitely beat him 2 rounds in a row.
Maidana's
I know he
back.
is, but he's looking like he's really out of shape.
Cruiserweight. He said he's fighting at cruiserweight, I think.
Who is?
Maidana.
Oh my God. That's too much weight for the guy. But
he
retired. And he was enjoying that good life after he retired. I mean, he made his money.
Yeah, against
Bivol
Mayweather.
UD. Someone says Bivol UD.
Yeah, possibly Bivol.
There is a good chance that if he outboxes Canelo all 12 rounds.
But nobody's going to UD. The thing is, no one's going to UD Canelo on points. He's too big of a star.
You'd have to literally batter him.
Yeah, you'd have to batter him from pillar to post, and you'd get a split decision. If you're beating Canelo, you're going to have to drop him and stuff like that. If it goes points, Canelo's going to win this.
Yeah, I don't ever see Canelo getting dropped. That guy's got a lot of chin.
He's got a beard on him.
Bivol's got pop, but yeah,
at the time of the Kovalev, when he knocked Kovalev out, he was up on the cards. They had Canelo up on the cards, and there's no way.
Ridiculous. Yeah, no, it's stupid.
That jab was just in his face constantly.
Anyone seen a fat mark on his forehead, on Canelo's forehead, after he beat Kovalev? Like, mate, Kovalev was just popping at his jab out for the whole time. Kept on hitting him. Yeah. Kept on landing him.
I'm not saying Canelo's a great fighter. I'm just saying that it needs to be fair. You know, with this, because that's like with Mayweather. Some of the close decisions he's had, like we said, Maidana and Castillo. They were building him up.
You know what? It had Miguel Cotto when he fought against what's him called Floyd Mayweather. Had he gone all 12 rounds with that same energy he had the first 8 rounds, where he was making him bleed, where he was landing that powerful left jab. You know, had it turned around, I think Cotto could have beaten him, but he tired out, and Mayweather just went toe to toe, and he displayed good ringmanship. You know what I mean? Mayweather is Mayweather for a reason. You know what I mean? He's a special fighter. He definitely went toe to toe with Miguel Cotto all 12 rounds, and he beat him soundly.
I think Mayweather, Miguel Cotto's best fight was against Ricardo. That was a war.
Oh, with Ricardo Mayorga?
I think it was Ricardo. He fought, I can't remember, Puerto Rican. Was it another Puerto Rican? He had massive power.
You're talking about when he was at 140.
Yeah. I forgot the guy's name now.
I know who you're talking about, but you said his first name correctly, Ricardo.
Was it? Yeah, I thought, but I tell you what, that guy could bang.
Yeah.
he wobbled Miguel early in that fight.
You know what fight I still say is controversial to this day? When Miguel Cotto ended up fighting against Joshua Clottey. I honestly thought Clottey got robbed of that fight. He should have won. If it wasn't for that knockdown.
What Clottey against Cotto?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think Clottey won that.
Yeah, he should have won. But
also Mosley fight was close, very close as well.
It was, but a much younger Cotto still edged him by this much.
Yeah, it was super close.
It was.
What do